There we go. Uh, so this happened today. I'm going to listen to Trump's portion till probably maybe around here. Uh, no, for sure. I agree. I agree, David. But yeah, so we're probably going to go to about right here. We're going to see what Trump has to say. I think he's going to talk about the operation a little bit more. And he comes back later to answer some questions if I feel like it. If I feel like he's got the sauce in this interview and he's not just being a bumbling old grandpa, then I'll watch some of the questions as well. But let's go ahead and see what Trump said today, and we'll see how much we all buy it.
Thank you very much.
You're real? Oh, well, welcome to the Patriot family then. My bad.
It's a great honor to be with you, and happy Easter. We had a great Easter. This is one of our better Easters, I think, in a lot of different ways. I can say militarily, it's been one of the best. So, good afternoon. We have quite a bit to discuss. We'll go into pretty good detail. And we have the people that are most involved. We'll give you exactitude. And we're here today to celebrate the success of one of the largest, most complex, most harrowing combat searches. I guess you would call it a search and rescue mission ever attempted by the military. Generally, when planes are knocked down in war, especially when you're fighting a strong group, an evil group, you can't really do this.
He's calling them strong now.
You send in 200 men to pick up one, and it's something that's usually not attempted as much as you want to attempt.
Hey.
And bad things happen to that one or two.
I already said earlier, I would much rather have spent that $400 million of military equipment saving some lives here at home. You know, I'm just saying.
And in this case, we did too, and it might not have been attempted before, but we did. And we had great talent. We got a little luck too, I would say. And we were helped by a lot of people, a lot of great people. And it was an honor to be involved with it. It's very historic. This is a rescue that's very historic. It'll go down in the books. Late Thursday night, an American F-15 fighter jet went down deep inside enemy territory in Iran while participating in Operation Epic Fury, where we're doing unbelievably well, well at a level that nobody's ever seen before.
Totally.
The entire country could be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, I think that was his recent tweet or something. I think there's a deadline for tomorrow at 8 p.m. or something, but he's had like 20 deadlines so far. So I don't know. We'll see if he does the infrastructure stuff. Like he can. I'm sure that America can like take out a lot of Iran's like energy infrastructure, but it's not like Iran doesn't have like cards that they can play as well still, like taking out the desalination plants and obviously hitting all of the Gulf states with hitting a lot of their oil and energy infrastructure in retaliation. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe he'll do it. Maybe he won't. He seems to always back out of anything that will cause actual like super long lasting impact to energy prices and stuff, which I think if he did that, it would, you know, probably be like years before, or at least like a year before the energy prices restabilize. So
members of the crew ejected from the aircraft and landed alive on Iranian soil. I immediately was asked to make a decision. I ordered the U.S. Armed Forces to do whatever was necessary to bring our brave warriors back home. A risky decision, because we could have ended up with 100 dead as opposed to 1 or 2. It's a hard decision to make. But in the United States military, we leave no American behind. We don't do it.
Trust me, he's not doing it for the American service member. I assure you, he does not. Trump doesn't give like a shit about his own fucking family. Like he does not care at all about this dude. The reason he did it was to not look like a fucking bozo. Like he went in to save them so that it didn't look like terrible for both him and the military, like the campaign that he's already waging that is already looking terrible to like most average Americans. So like that's the reason he did it. He just didn't want them to have a propaganda win. So
within hours, our armed forces deployed 21 military aircraft into hostile airspace, many flying at very low altitude, being shot by bullets. You bring rifles into play when you're going that low, but there are also certain advantages. And in broad daylight over Iran for 7 hours, at times facing very, very heavy enemy fire. We have a helicopter that's got a lot of bullets in it. It's amazing. We just realized how good those weapons are. Those our machines are. Nobody has the equipment that we have, and nobody has the military that we have. Not even close.
it better not.
The most powerful military anywhere in the world
Spending
by
like
far.
$1 trillion on that shit.
The flight crews and warfighters aboard those aircraft took extraordinary risks to rescue their fellow service members. This first wave of search and rescue forces successfully located the pilot of the F-15, and he was extracted from enemy territory by an HH-60 Jolly Green II helicopter. Fabulous machine as our warriors faced gunfire at very close range. It's amazing that
Yeah. This is exactly why, like, because I had also heard, yeah, they were being fired upon, like, basically from all angles. Like, this is why I don't believe that the plane or whatever, like, got stuck in the sand. Like, I just think that they just, like, were unable to, it was inoperable. And so that's why they blew it up. That's what I think probably happened. But they just have to pretend like Iran didn't in any way cause this to happen. So, just to like save face.
look at the machinery, what happened, that nobody was even injured. Meanwhile, the second crew member, a weapons system officer,
I don't buy that either.
highly respected colonel, had landed a significant distance away from the pilot. When you're going at those speeds, even if you go out 2 or 3 seconds later, it's miles and miles away because you're going fast. He was injured quite badly and stranded in an area teeming with terrorists from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps rough group, as well as besieged militia and local authorities. Many, on top of everything else, they told the communities actually within inside of Iran, the people of Iran, they were given a tremendous incentive to find this pilot. Despite the peril, the officer followed his training and climbed into the treacherous mountain terrain and started climbing toward a higher altitude, something they were trained to do in order to evade capture. They want to always go as far away from the site of the shoot down. You want to go as far away because they all head right to that site. You want to be as far away as you can. And he was injured, and he was an amazing, amazing thing. He scaled cliff faces, bleeding rather profusely, treated his own wound.
Dude, you just know if this person is real, which I'm still not like, I mean, I think that he probably was, but if this person that he's talking about is real, you know that Donald Trump, the moment he saw him, was so fucking grossed out. Like, he's such a germaphobe that anytime anybody is even like mildly disfigured or anything like that, like he has like an instinct of like just like repulsion to them. Like, I feel like he would have such a hard time like shaking that dude's hand or something. Like,
and contacted American forces to transmit his location. They have a very sophisticated beeper type apparatus that is on them at all times. And when they go out on these missions, they make sure they have lots of battery space and they're in good shape. And this one worked really well, amazingly, saved his life. We immediately mobilized a massive operation to retrieve him from the mountain holdout. And he kept going higher and higher. The mountain kept getting rougher and rougher and really very, very hard to find. This second rescue mission involved 155 aircraft, including 4 bombers, 64 fighters,
Jesus.
48 refueling tankers, 13 rescue aircraft, and more. We were bringing them all over, and a lot of it was
See, that's where I'm like, this is one of those things where it does start to be like, they must have had other plans, or either they had other plans, or they were just trying to practice for like future, like the future plans of like getting the nuclear material or something, because that just seems like an absurd amount of like aircraft that you would need for that. Like, um yeah, I don't know, man. I'm always pretty skeptical of anything that the State Department says. Um, and also obviously Donald Trump. And at first I was thinking like definitely the dude's real at least. Um, but I don't know. It is starting to this sort of stuff that's just seems like so much overkill for an operation like this. But I don't know. I guess I'm not a military expert or anything, so
A subterfuge.
maybe it's possible.
We wanted to have them think he was in a different location because they had a vast military force out there. Thousands of people were looking. So we wanted them to look in different areas. So we were scattered all over like we were right on top of them. We had 7 different locations where they thought, and they were very confused. They said, well, wait a minute, they've got groups here, they've got groups there. It's an amazing thing. I was listening to these great people, these great generals. General Raisin Kane was amazing, and Pete Hegseth was amazing. But I listened to the whole thing. It was pretty amazing. So they had all these different sites where everybody thought he was located. We think we have him over there because they have 9 planes circling a little area that's 25 miles down the coast. So in a breathtaking show of skill and precision, lethality and force, America's military descended on the area, the real area, engaged the enemy, rescued the stranded officer, destroyed all threats, and exited Iranian territory while taking no casualties of any kind. The heroic F-15 weapon system officer had evaded capture on the ground in Iran for almost 48 hours. That's a long time when you're in.
Also, just so people are aware, they've already been caught lying about like injuries, like reporting injuries at least. And they have ways of, especially when it comes to special forces, of not releasing like death information. Like, because if they're secret enough, then like it's a part of like the entire program, or your death may never be released whatsoever if you're doing especially covert stuff or whatever. So like, I mean, it all depends, but my guess is that there may not have been any actual deaths in the operation or like casualties, but I bet there were like a bunch of injuries.
Tough shape, and when you're bleeding, it's a long time. When we left, as you probably know, we had 2 large planes, pretty old planes that carried a lot. We needed a lot more equipment going in than coming out, obviously, because going in, we needed to be able to scale mountains, and we had a lot of equipment. But the sand.
So is that why they needed so many people to like go? Like he was too injured to like get somewhere, I guess. So they had to send a bunch of people to go out and like search and find him. I suppose maybe that's why. I don't know.
Was sandy, wet sand. So we thought there may be a problem taking off because of the weight of the plane. And then we also had all the men jumping back onto the planes. And they got pretty well bogged down. And we had a contingency plan, which was unbelievable, where lighter, faster aircraft came in and they took them out. We blew up the old planes. We blew them up to smithereens because we had equipment on the planes that, frankly, we'd like to take, but I don't think it was worthwhile spending another 4 hours there taking it off. So we didn't want anybody to have the best equipment anywhere in the world. We didn't want anybody examining our anti-aircraft and other equipment.
Well, I mean, they could probably get some information, I guess, on how how these planes potentially, if they're like sending missiles or whatever, like how that sort of stuff works. But I was going to say, I don't think that Iran is looking to like retroactively like recreate like the F-15, like because a single F-15 costs like $100 million to make. So I don't think that would work very well for their strategy of like attritional warfare, if I had to assume.
So these were large planes that were old and pretty old, and we blew them up. And we had faster, lighter planes come in, and they were able to land on the sand. We needed the bigger planes because we had so much equipment that we needed. We took 3 helicopters over there, which were very strongly used and couldn't have lived without them. They did, and they performed unbelievably well. And if you'd see it, you wouldn't believe it. They came off the plane, and these guys had them. The rotors were off. They rebuilt these helicopters in less than 10 minutes. And that was one of the more amazing things. These are helicopters.
Were you there?
Small, unbelievably powerful, but small, very small, so it can get into certain areas. And they got them off the plane, and they rebuilt all 3 of them in a matter of I would say less than 10 minutes. It's pretty amazing what the genius of these people. Who would think that? You'd think it would take 5 days to build them. And in some companies, it would take 5 days, and they wouldn't do it well. But they served us well. As Commander-in-Chief, I never forget the extraordinary risk taken by the warriors that we send into battle and the genius. I mean, think of it, having a contingency of 3 planes waiting because we think the sand is so bad that we probably won't be able to take off. And the planes...
Yeah, I mean, I won't deny that our military is still like... tactically competent, right? Like they are able to achieve individual tactical successes from a military perspective. Like there's no doubt in my mind that they are like very capable, and they better fucking be, considering how much of my fucking tax dollars we spend on them. However, like it's just tactical success is nothing in the face of like strategic, like tactical successes will never lead to strategic victory without a vision for how to get there, like from a strategic perspective. And I still see no way in which we strategically are able to defeat Iran at this point. It just seems impossible. Iran is going to continue holding on to the Strait of Hormuz, it feels like, indefinitely. There's nothing we can do about it. We could do, maybe a full occupation could do something about it. But unless we do it like, and I mean like an actual full Iraq style occupation, but I don't think we have the political will for that. And so, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, our military is very tactically strong, but that doesn't really mean that much in the long run.
Really got bogged. This was not much of a runway. This was a farm, not a runway. It's a farm, but it did the trick. But to have a contingency as opposed to having to wait 2 days, can you imagine, right in the middle? This was central. This was right, you would call it central casting if you were doing a movie for location.
Okay.
And
what did I just say about when the media tries to portray like these actions as like something out of a fucking movie? That's not how it works. That's not how it, like, yeah, that's just the propaganda spin. And I'm sure there probably will be some shitty ass movie about this in the future. But yeah, that, I don't know. Well, it depends, I guess, probably actually, how, you know, like how much of a strategic failure this excursion into Iran ends up being, if I had to guess. But there probably will be some shitty ass Hollywood movie about this.
Probably the toughest area of Iran where we'd be sitting there. So these planes came in, those pilots came in so fast and so quick and got out of there. Everybody got aboard and just got 15-minute intervals. One load out, one load out, one load out. It happened. And we were
3 loads, man. Oof.
Watching and we said, that's amazing. It's in many ways I was almost more impressed by the contingency that we had.
That's like me when my wife isn't home. Am I right, guys? One load out. One load out. No, I'm just kidding. Kidding. That's a joke.
The fact that, if we would have had
joke, people,
a runway or decent soil, but it was an amazing thing. But we thank God for every single one of them and the talent. The genius is not even talent, it's genius. The whole ball game, every one of them. If you look at what we did with Maduro, we went into a military compound, a massive, with thousands and thousands of soldiers, and within a matter of minutes,
Reliving
and
the
he lived
glory
behind
days.
iron doors. There were steel doors, broke them down so quickly, and within almost minutes, he was in the back of these planes. It was a similar group. Incredible. We have incredibly talented people. And if the time comes, we move heaven and earth to bring them home safely. We're going to bring our people home safely. I want to thank every member of the U.S. Armed Forces involved in these historic operations. They really were historic. It's just not something that's done. And you'd understand it. Not that they don't want to do it, but when you're going into areas, when you look at these helicopters, when you look at the amount of bullets and everything else that they...
I feel like he's kind of rambling at this point. I'm going to scoot ahead to some questions. We'll see what the reporters got this time.
These two gentlemen have been, from day one, they've been perfecto. You know, I got to know General Kane in my first term because he was able to take out ISIS in 4 weeks instead of the 4-year projection that was given to me by other much lesser generals. And I said, you know, if I ever do this again, that's going to be the head of my Joint Chiefs of Staff. And we worked it that way, didn't we? It's amazing. He took out ISIS. We defeated ISIS in 4 weeks. I was told it would take 4 years. I flew to Iraq to find out with the greatest equipment in the world, why would it take 4 years? And he told me, sir, it won't. It'll take 4 weeks and you'll have time left over. And that's exactly what happened. So he's great. And Pete, all I can say is that he was treated very unfairly. And now those same people that treated him unfairly, that fought against him, they called me up saying, what a great choice he was. They said, well, what happened
Let's
during
get to a question.
Greatest leadership opportunity.
Yes, please. The CIA, too. I don't think they get enough credit for the great job they've done. Yes, please.
We love our CIA.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
President, for this great opportunity. Country, it has super army. You make a difference, Mr. President. Thank you for your greatest leadership.
Okay, who is this guy? What expat community do we think this guy is from? He's given major expat vibes, if I had to guess.
I have two quick questions, Mr. President. What was your reaction when you learned that Kurdistan region had resumed exporting oil to the international market with your support as United States of America?
Well, I expected that. We've gotten along with the Kurds for a long time, so I expected that.
Another question, what would be your reaction if the Iranian people rise up against their regime during a ceasefire, Mr. President?
He must be an Iranian expat, if I had to guess, with the way he's talking.
Well, they should do it, but again, the consequences are great. I mean, they were told if you protest, you will be shot immediately. You saw what happened to the young
They kind of
wrestler.
gave up
He
on
was a
that
great
one,
champion,
didn't they?
by the way. He was a great wrestler, one of the top in the world. And he and his two friends were hung. And all they did was say a little bit about liberty. They wanted liberty, and they were violently executed. But the number is up to probably 45,000 people were killed.
45,000,
So.
man. I need to get a ticker. I need to get like a ticker at the top left of my screen or something that just like keeps track of the number of protesters that were killed, because I swear every time he goes up and talks about it, it goes up. The number goes up. It's crazy.
You know, when somebody stays in a house, when they know if they walk out of the house to protest, they'll be immediately shot and killed. And they issued that, you know, that was publicly issued. It's not a secret. That's why so many people say, oh, well, why are you doing this way? We can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. You know, we got regime change. We do. We're dealing with a much different regime than before. We're dealing with different people. They're smarter. I think they're sharper and far less radical. We have regime change, but we didn't do this for regime change. We did it for the fact. And
like they replaced what? The Ayatollah with the IRGC? Like, how on earth is that regime change?
my view was very simple. I saw somebody said, "Oh, he doesn't have a plan. I have the best plan of all, but I'm not going to tell you what my plan is." You know, they want me to say,
Just like the plan
"Here's
for
my plan. We're going to attack
Medicare
at
or whatever.
9:47 in the morning, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to." And if you don't do that, they say, "I have a plan." These people know what the plan is. Everybody here knows what the plan is, but it's very unfair to say we don't. Because I don't mind being insulted. I've been insulted for many years by the fake news, but you can't. It's so bad for the people that are so pro. You just saw two great and John Ratcliffe, three unbelievable people. They have a plan. Every single.
Dude, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. Have you ever like hung out with somebody who like just kept like saying something like over and over, and it was like every single time they say it, you believe them less and less? Like you can't, like, he's gotta stop with like saying I have a plan, we have a plan, because every time he says it now, I'm like, I don't think you do. Like I'm thinking it's getting, you just sound less and less like you have a plan. You're overcompensating. You gotta bring it back down a notch, Don.
Single thing has been thought out by all of us, but I can't reveal the plan to the media. So, you know, but we're just thrilled by the success of this operation. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You've said Iranians would be mad if you stopped these attacks, but why would they want you to blow up their infrastructure, to cut off their power? Wouldn't that be punishing Iranians for the actions of the regime?
They would be willing to, and it's suffering. They would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom.
Have you
Iranians
asked them?
we've had numerous.
They would rather die, right? They would rather be liberated from their lives, right? That's what they meant by liberation. Is please, Donald, please come and liberate our lives from our bodies. That's what we want. Yeah, I'm sure that's what they want.
Please keep bombing. Bombs that are dropping.
The people in Gaza, I'm sure also they wanted their liberation from Hamas, right? Does anyone actually still believe this fucking shit, dude?
Near their homes. Please keep bombing. Do it. And these are people that are living where the bombs are exploding. And when we leave and we're not hitting those areas, they're saying, please come back, come back, come back. These are the people. I don't know what they do. All I can tell you is they want freedom.
So make-believe.
They have lived in
Grandpa's telling
world
stories
that
again.
you know nothing about. It's a violent, horrible world where if you protest, you are shot. Remember the great woman protest?
Not like our America, where you go out and you go out on the streets and protest for Palestine. They don't brutalize you at all. They don't shoot at you either with like rubber bullets and stuff. I guess generally, at least not yet. Generally, they don't kill you, but they do kill some of you though. They killed Alex Preddy and Renee Good. They killed them for protesting. So, you know, I mean, I guess it's just universal. I guess protesters are getting killed everywhere.
Yes, where they had 400,000, 500,000 women. And
but that doesn't mean I want Russia to come in and start like carpet bombing St. Louis or something, or carpet bombing Michigan or Minnesota. Sorry. Wasn't it Minneapolis? I guess. I don't want them to go carpet bomb Minneapolis just because some of our homegrown, you know, regime agitators, like our ICE thugs, went out and they had a bad day, went out and decided to shoot some American citizens. I don't necessarily want, you know, China or Russia to come start carpet bombing America. Like, I mean, that's just my personal opinion. Maybe some of us do.
They were all enthused and they were gonna protest, and everybody said, oh, the regime's gonna come to an end. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom, 5, 6 different areas. A woman would go down right between the eyes. They had snipers. They had 5 snipers. That's all it took.
What?
And those 400,000 or 500,000 women said, oh my God, what's that? Oh, look over there. What's that? A woman shot right between the eyes.
What is he talking about?
And after 5 or 6 of them go down, then you start hearing the purr through the vast number of people. And then they say, oh my God, who would do that? And they're incredible people, but they've lived so horribly. They've lived so horribly. You know, Iran was a great country if you go back 25 years ago or so. the Persian people, they're incredible, smart, brilliant, actually.
Yeah, before they had a revolution, before they had a revolution to like kick out all of the, American pedo billionaires or whatever. Yeah, I'm sure it was great back then.
And I know so
the
many.
Shah.
I know coming from New York, originally, I know so many people from around. They're incredible people, incredible energy, and very, very brilliant people. But when you're standing in a group and protesting, and you have a woman, in the case of a woman, remember the Great Woman March. Everybody was saying, "Oh, this is the end of the country," and then snipers selectively picked. Every single one was shot right between the eyes.
Wait, is he talking about Iran or is he talking about Israel people? Because that's some like Israel shit. I'm pretty sure this is just projection, dude. This is just like the shit that we do, or that like, well, in particular that Israel does, like on the Palestinians March to Return, where they were just sniping women and like babies, basically, like from the Gaza, like the Gaza concentration camp, like gate or whatever. Yeah, like I don't know. This just seems like some major projection from our big beautiful
from
boy.
a long distance. They were on top of buildings. Nobody even knew where they were. Where they coming from? This wasn't like a machine gun.
I'm gonna skip to the next question. This one's boring me.
You're out of there. I don't care who it is. Please.
Mark Meredith, Fox News.
I know that.
Oh, thank you.
How would I know that? Go ahead.
America's watching. No.
Good job.
Can we go back to the weekend? First off, was everyone on board with the operation, or were there people that were trying to talk you out of going through with the operation this weekend?
Not everybody was on board.
Somebody else within
No,
you?
there was military people, very professional, that preferred not doing it. These two were totally on board, which was very important. If they weren't, it would have had a little difficulty.
Yeah, because they're fucking sociopaths. Like, I would assume that the actual military people who are saying no probably were making the right call. I'm going to be honest. Because like, I'm assuming they were doing it because they didn't want their men to die or whatever, like the people that they are in charge of, that they might actually have like some form of like personal interaction or relationship with. Like they probably didn't want them to die, and so they're saying this is way too risky. I don't think we should do this. And Pete Hegseth and maybe that other guy, Mark Wayne or whatever the fuck his name was, or if that was Raising Cane, I'm not sure. But they probably are just so far removed from the actual individuals that are going to be, sent into like the dangerous situation, that they don't like even think of them as people. It's the same like reason why they don't really think that much about like, oh, let's do some crazy operation to seize the uranium or whatever, or some like stupid ass idea to steal Carg Island. Like they're willing to just throw everybody into the meat grinder because fundamentally they do not care, or they are like sociopathic when it comes to the people that they are in charge of, and they care more about the ideology of the American State Department and what it represents and what it's supposed to represent, as some like unfailable like, I don't know, bloodletting machine or whatever, like that goes out there that like has to exist, has to like project American dominance in every aspect, or else like it essentially collapses in on its own weight. Like they care way more about that than they do the actual individual lives of the people that they're sending out. So that's why I say they're like sociopathic. Of course they didn't care. Of course they wanted to do this. They would, and they're going to keep doing stupid operations like this, probably. And it's only a matter of time until it goes horribly, horribly wrong. Like, so I'm just like giving them a little bit of like fair warning. It might have gone okay this time. And that's assuming you trust their word that there were no real injuries or deaths in this operation, which I don't particularly buy. But yeah, it's only a matter of time before, it goes terribly, terribly wrong. And there's like hundreds, if not thousands of deaths. So.
But no, there were military people that said you just don't do this. You don't go into the heart of a very powerful military. This is, hey, you have countries and countries. You have some countries where
he gives the game away every time, where he was not expecting Iran to be like this powerful when he decided to do this. Like, he keeps giving the game away, especially like when he talks about Venezuela and how easy that was or whatever in comparison. He's like, yeah, he's just admitting, right, like carte blanche, that he like was not expecting it to go this way.
military is not their strong suit. This whole thing is militarized like nobody's ever seen before. Half the people are wearing uniforms. And we had people within the military. Usually it's not done. That's one of the reasons. I was surprised. Somebody said it's the only time it's ever been done. I said, that's not possible. But it is possible, because you're going into hundreds of thousands of soldiers along the path. I mean, look at some.
Okay. So I think I'm done with this one. Okay. Well, it was a pretty good press conference. I think we got some good information. Yeah, he just goes on a little too long sometimes on these answers, but